Welcome to RealEnglishConversations.net,
the podcast where you can study the art of real English conversations while listening to fun and interesting topics.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Real English Conversations. My name is Curtis and with me is my partner in conversation, Amy. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. So far, so good. How about you?
Cool. Yeah, I'm, same old, same old.
Nice.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, we're going to carry on with our conversation about winter storms and snow and certain hazards that exist within our country as a result of the snow. And an interesting topic that we didn't have time to get to last time was talking about avalanches in mountainous areas and also a highway that is called the Coquihalla Highway, which is for us the main highway that links Kelowna to Vancouver, but it's a major transportation route from Vancouver to Calgary or Edmonton, say, which are major cities that obviously need to transport goods with trucks and that sort of thing, or just traveling.
It's fairly well known, almost famous.
It is. In fact, there's actually a TV show that films the worst highways or something to that effect, and they have done a documentary about this section of this highway and how dangerous it is to travel and maintain the highway really in the wintertime because of the elevation of the mountains and the snow that happens to fall in that region. Why is there so much snow that falls on that mountain pass?
Because there's a lot of moisture that comes from the coast.
It funnels right up into that valley with these extremely steep mountains in the Hope area. Hope is the name of a city that is right at the base where the Coquihalla starts. And all of the clouds just come into these mountain ranges and release all of their snow as they hit the mountains. And they have basically put a road through this high mountain pass as a shortcut in between cities. So you guys probably don't know, but when you're traveling up through mountains, as you're traveling up a mountain on a cloudy day, for example, or a day where there's snow or rain or something like that, the clouds actually are a little bit lower down usually. Sometimes clouds are up at 30 or 40,000 feet, but on times where there's a storm and the clouds are full of moisture, they're a little bit lower. And what does that do to the visibility when you're driving?
Well, what happens is it makes it worse.
Because you can't see anything because you're literally driving through clouds.
Right. So limited visibility.
How does it look?
It looks like a whiteout.
During a snowstorm, for
sure. During a snowstorm.
It's also foggy, but instead of snow being on the ground, at least you can see that the pavement is dark. You know where you're going. But during a winter snowstorm, when you're trying to navigate through this highway, really, it's crazy. It's extremely dangerous. A driver, as you're going up, first of all, a steep mountain, you're driving up, thousands of feet up in elevation. And the snow on the road is covering the road, so you're not able to see the lines on the road. If you're lucky, the fog isn't that thick, it's not very dense, and you can still see the sides of the road. You can see the snowbanks that are there, so you're able to maintain your position down the center of the road. But there are times on that highway in particular where the fog is so dense you can't see anything.
Nothing at all.
It's so dangerous. Everything is white. And it's even worse if you're driving at nighttime. Your headlights hit this fog. Your headlights are illuminating a white cloud. You have even worse visibility.
Right. this increases the danger aspect, increases the aspect of accidents. Yeah. Sometimes they don't even open the road, they close it.
They'll close it because it is not uncommon for this section of the highway to receive between 30 and 100 centimeters of snow over the course of a day or two. It just absolutely accumulates so rapidly that there's no way snow crews can continue removing the snow to keep the highway open. Now, something else that happens in the mountains and in areas where there's a highway that is passing through the mountains are the risk of avalanches.
Okay, what's an avalanche?
Well, an avalanche is... Okay, snow has different layers of snow within it that are affected by the previous weather that has happened. So, for example, maybe you have a mountain that has received 30 centimeters of snow, but it was very cold when that snow fell. So the snow was very, very light. And then what happens is the weather changes. So the snow that falls on top of it, maybe the snow fell when it was only -2 degrees, just a little bit below freezing, but there was 15 centimeters of snow that has fallen on that. And then the sun comes out and it's shining on that snow and it's creating almost like a layer of ice. Okay. And then the next storm comes and it deposits another 30 centimeters of snow on top of this. Now, snow is not light. Snow is water that is frozen. So it has a lot of weight behind it. So what will happen is when a big deposit of snow falls on top of a layer that's kind of weak, like the light fluffy layer from when it was cold, or on top of a layer that is frozen, it will actually slide down the mountain in one go. It's like a tidal wave of snow flying down the mountain. There's different categories that exist within avalanches. So you can have anywhere from a category 1 to a category 5. Mm-hmm. A category 4 or 5 will move a tremendous amount of snow. It will actually clear trees out of its path. Whole trees, just snapping them like twigs as it comes down the side of the mountain. So what they do in situations like this is they anticipate when the snow is likely to make a change and be a hazard and be an avalanche, and they actually trigger avalanches intentionally while a highway is closed so that it doesn't happen unexpectedly. Right. So what do they do to trigger avalanches?
What they do, it's really cool. They send helicopters up with explosives. And they go to a certain part of the mountain
where it's likely to have an avalanche. This would be a very steep pitch of a mountainside, so the steepest part probably.
And they set off these charges, these explosives. They throw them right into this area, and
it goes boom, and the snow just lets go, and it's this tidal wave of avalanche coming down the side of the hill.
It's called Avalanche Control.
Yeah. And sometimes what happens is these avalanches are so big that they slide down and cover the highway.
They cover the whole road.
And the crews have to actually go in and remove the snow with equipment to reopen the highway again. And it's good when that happens. It's good that they actually shut down the highway to have that happen in a controlled way, because there's no risk of anybody being buried in the avalanche unexpectedly, which is why they do it.
Yeah, and which has happened in the past as well.
Where else do we see avalanches and where they can be harmful to people?
On ski hills.
Not really on the ski hills, but in regions where people like to go in the backcountry, we call it.
Okay.
those are areas outside of the boundaries of the ski hills. Some people do mountain trekking where they travel with special equipment up a hill so they can ski down it for the ultimate powder experience.
These are the very adventurous people.
Yes, and also snowmobilers, people that have a snowmobile and they go into the backcountry and they're putting themselves into an uncontrolled environment. So this isn't like the highway where they know what's going to happen with the snow. You know, these people are supposed to know what is happening with the snow, and they're supposed to know whether it's safe or not, but a lot of them don't take the care or have the training to be able to evaluate.
They put themselves at risk or in danger, especially if they don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. And in Canada, I did a little bit of research about statistics. So over the past 15 years, the average number of deaths per year from avalanches ranges from 5 to 26 deaths. Last year was really bad in the springtime. There was a period of 1 week where 8 people died between British Columbia and Alberta. There was one family where it was the son and the dad that both died during this, and they were just out tobogganing somewhere in the backcountry. I don't know how that happened. It's sad. It's very, very sad, because it was probably just people being naive to the hazards of avalanches. But they can be very dangerous, definitely fatal. If you're caught in one and you survive, you are very, very lucky.
Mm-hmm. You can actually take a course, avalanche survival course.
Mm-hmm, which will help you a little bit, but when you're caught in a tidal wave of snow, you can't breathe. You can't control how much snow is above you. There's debris within the avalanche because, like I said, it can take out trees and rocks, and there's just snow moving down the side of the mountain, and you're part of that force. So anyway, it's something that everybody who thinks about going skiing or snowboarding or snowmobiling in the backcountry should think about and definitely be
aware of.
Yeah, they should be aware of it. And now you know, if you come to Canada or you're in the US and they close a highway because of avalanche risk or the snow, you know why it's happening. Thanks for listening, guys.
And we'll catch you later.
See ya. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and you'd like to know every time we release a new episode, be sure to come to our website and subscribe to our email list. Otherwise, you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. All the links are available on the homepage of our website at realenglishconversations.net. Thanks again for listening.